Good afternoon. Today's presentation, we are going to look at crafting effective food security policy. But before we talk about crafting effective food security policies, I quickly want us to look at the evolution of the concept of food system. The term food system has evolved over time, moving from a focus on addressing production and distribution issues to a more holistic perspective. This holistic view integrates all elements related to food production, processing, distribution, preparation, consumption, and their social, economic, and environmental outcomes. But I want us to look at unsustainability of modern food system. As food systems have evolved, aspects from various disciplines continue to develop interest in examining the unsustainability of modern food system. However, much of the reflection has been qualitative due to fragmented and incomplete data on food system. Then we look at the rapid changes in food systems. Rapid changes in food system are rapidly transitioning and transforming worldwide, affecting issues such as nutrition, environmental, sustainability, and social challenges. Then we take a look at understanding food system drivers. But let us look at food security. We say food security is a critical issue affecting nations worldwide. Effective food security policies are essential to ensure access to safe and nutritious food for all. When crafting food security policy, several critical factors should be considered to ensure their effectiveness and sustainability. These factors are based on the argument presented in the reading and can be instrumental in addressing food security challenges also in Liberia or any other country for that matter. One of the major factors we want to look at is the multidimensional approach. We say food security is a complex issue that requires a multi-dimensional approach. Policies should not focus solely on increasing food production, but also address issues related to access, distributions, and nutrition. A comprehensive approach that considers all aspects of the food system can have a more significant impact on food security. Another factor is the context-specific solution. We say food security policy must be tailored to the specific content and needs of the country. In the case of Liberia, Liberia has a unique social, economic, environmental condition. And that condition should be, those conditions should be taken into account when designing policies that are relevant, effective for the local population. And then the third factor, quickly we want to look at is the stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement is a process in which we involve all of the relevant stakeholders, including the government agencies, the NGOs, both local and international, local communities, community leaders, the private sector. All of these agencies are very crucial for successful policy implementation. A collaborative effort, in my belief, my opinion, can lead to a better coordination, resource allocation, and targeted intervention. Before moving forward, I want us to look at the contextual framework of food system. What? This contextual framework encompasses a lot of processes and a lot of factors. But understanding food system drivers, to comprehend food system dynamics and their sustainability, it is essential to identify the main drivers influencing this system. Understanding these drivers is crucial for policymakers to design effective policies and interventions. Policies should encompass production, distribution, processing, retailing, market, and waste management. But if we look at the drivers of production and supply dynamics, for example, we say is technological innovations is one of those factors. Technological innovation or advancement in agriculture, including mechanization, irrigation, plant breeding, and improved import management have led to significant increases in agricultural yields and productivity worldwide, with the exception of sub-Saharan Africa. Intensification and homogenization of the agricultural sector. This process distinct from technological innovation and has contributed higher per capita agricultural outputs, particularly in the context of the modern food system. However, it has also led to a major degradation of soils and agroecological conditions. Climate change and temperature increase. The progressive increase in temperature and more frequent extreme weather events are expected to negatively impact agricultural production in some regions over the next few decades. Degradations of soil quality and ecosystem conditions, the intensifications and homogenizations of farming activities have led to general increases in agricultural production by negatively affecting soil quality and agro-ecosystem health. Improve access to local infrastructure for small producers. Smaller and medium-sized producers in low and medium income countries have benefited from improved access to local infrastructure to proximity to urban centers, leading to increased participation in the market. Trade policies and intervention. If you look on the production supply drivers, the last premise is the trade policies intervention processes. We said that national level agricultural policies and actions of international organizations such as the WTO have facilitated or mitigated trade expansion and exportations of agricultural products, significantly influencing the food system. Then we come to the second drivers of distribution and trade dynamics. The first thing we look at is the trade policy. We say trade policies have played a major role in globalization of food, trade, shaping international food markets. And the other factors is the internationalization of private investment. International private investment have contributed to the rapid development of supermarket-based distribution in many low and medium-income countries. Growing concern for food safety. Increased concern about food safety from local and national policy makers have influenced distribution trade dynamics, leading to attention to quality and safety standards in food trade. Then the last factor we will look at is the consumptions and demand drivers. And the first phase of the consumption and demand driver has to do with urbanization. Urbanizations and lifestyle changes have been linked to the rising prevalence of overweight and obese population in urban areas. However, the relationship is more complex. In low and middle income countries, obesity is initially prevented among higher social economic status also in the urban areas. But as GDP increases across countries, the burden of obesity shifts to groups with lower socioeconomic status and rural areas, changing the nature of the driver's impact. Then we look at the income. We say higher income is associated with increased demand for ultra-processed food and animal-based protein, while the conventional wisdom suggests a positive correlation between income growth and meat consumption. Recent analysis show there is a turning point after which meat consumption plateaus or declines. The locations of the turning point varies among countries, making it difficult to identify a precise global trend. The next one is the population growth, for example. Global population growth is expected to lead to an increase in food demand. However, the mechanical effect of population growth is strongly influenced by other drivers such as changes in income and inequality, leading to a weak relationship between population growth and food demand increase. And lastly, we look at the growing attention to diet and health issues. Effort to promote healthier diet, country context, especially in high-income countries. However, the effectiveness of this effort is influenced by various external social and economic factors at the individual level, and the cost of healthy diet is generally higher than that of an unhealthy diet, which further complicates the characterizations of the trends. Then I want us to look at the strategies for effective food security projects in Liberia. We say in Liberia, to make food security project effective, the following strategies could be mostly considered. If these strategies are properly put into place, in my opinion, I'm very confident that there will be some level of effective food security in Liberia. First, we want to look at promoting smallholder agriculture. Liberia agriculture sector is dominated by smallholders. Focusing on supporting and empowering these farmers through access to credit, imposts, and training can improve food production and livelihood. Another factor to look at in improving food security or enhancing food security in Liberia is improve market access. Enhancing market access for smallholder farmers by developing rural infrastructure and facilitating linkages with urban market can boost agricultural productivity and income. Nutrition sensitivity interventions is another factor. Implementing nutrition sensitivity interventions that address dietary diversities and nutrition education can improve the health and well-being of vulnerable population. Just to dwell more on this, in Liberia, we have different segments or different environments and different group of people. For instance, if you move to the northern part of Liberia, the northern part of Liberia predominantly consume rice along with cassava. If you go to the central east of Liberia, mostly people eat cassava in a mixed form. They face it in the form of a domba, in the form of a GVs, and so forth. If you get to the southeast region, they eat plantain. So how do we diversify all of these when it comes to nutrition sensitivity interventions? So if we happen to prioritize and delegate this nutritional food segment in different components of the country, that will actually help to reduce hunger. But what we see is that everybody is traveling out for rice. So when there is no rice on the market, there is acute hunger. The next factor to look at is the disaster preparedness and response mechanism. Strengthening disaster preparedness and response mechanism can help community cope with shock such as natural disaster or disease outbreak. Then we look at sustainable land use. Sustainable land use, encouraging sustainable land use practices can prevent deforestation and soil degradation, promoting long-term food security. And the practice here in Liberia is of rotational farming. So every year, the farmer moves from one location to the next, cutting down the bush and the forest just to have a better yield. But wherein we are able to sustain land usage. That will help us to also save our forest and that contributing to the sustainability of the effect of climate change. Then we have gender equity. Considering gender-specific challenges in promoting gender equity in food security projects can enhance effectiveness and impact. Mostly in this country, women make up almost about 60 to 75% of food production. They produce bulk of the food in this country. So when we that kind of mind and try to also make necessary adjustment as it relates to gender, bringing in more equal facilities, equal opportunities for women to get greatly involved, we guess there will be a lot to be done. Then we look at the public-private partnership. Engaging in private sector in food security incentives can bring additional resources, expertise, and innovative solutions to the table. Unfortunately, now we are still standing in the past. We still remain in the past. This is a country where land ownership is not given to foreigners. Unfortunately, the citizens themselves don't have the money to invest heavily into agricultural production. And then other issues like borrowing money, room facilities are not adequately available. So it will begin to encourage a public-private partnerships. In this process, we think there will be a boost into our agricultural sector. Policy coordination, ensuring coordinations among various government departments and agencies involved in food security can enhance policy coherence and implementation. We have the Ministry of Agriculture that is responsible for the production of food security or coordinate all of the agricultural activities in Liberia. We also have the Liberia Produce Marketing Corporations that usually exist. That's the LPMC that are also responsible for production, processing, and marketing. We have other smaller food agriculture companies. But I also realized that there's a lot of coordinations among all of the agencies. And these are all government agencies. So if they begin to kind of coordinate and collaborate and prioritize priorities when it comes to food production, that could help the Liberian food security effort. Then we have continuous learning and adoption. Food security project in Liberia should be adapted and continuously learn from both sources and challenges to improve effectiveness over time. But this will require a lot of education. How do we learn from mistakes? Say, for instance, you produce food last year to a particular locality, and then the food yielded a very good results. What were those practices? What were those environmental issues? What were those time bombs that were set to give us a better yield? What kinds of weather did you have during your planting season? So to learn from, to do the lessons learned or to have the lessons learned, that requires education. So in order to have an enhanced food security process in Liberia, we need to strongly look at that. Then we also look at sustainable agriculture practices. Promoting sustainable agriculture practices can help food production while preserving natural resources and mitigating the impact of climate change. Implementing techniques such as agroecology, conservation agriculture, and sustainable water management can improve resilience in the face of environmental challenges. Social safety nets. Establishing social safety nets such as food assistance programs and cash transfer, like what was happening in the past during the past government, can help vulnerable population access food during times of crisis and economic hardship. We also look at capacity building in education. As I previously said, investing in capacity building and education for farmers, food producers, and consumers. Not only that, also young people who seeking university education can improve knowledge and skill, leading to enhance or to increase productivities, and better dietary choices. Infrastructure development is another factor. Adequate infrastructure, including transportation, farm-to-market roads, storage facilities, and market linkages, they are all essential for efficient food distribution and reducing post-harvest losses. With this, when we talk about storage facilities, that means we need sustainable electricity, for example. When we talk about transportation, I mean we need better roads, uh, leading from towns to markets, leading from towns to villages, so that the people with their produce can easily convert, can easily travel in order to sell their market. Research and innovation is another factor. Supporting research and innovation in agriculture and uh, and food system can lead to new technologies and practices and policies that contribute to food security. And we'll talk about climate adaptation and resilience. We say climate adaptation and resilience, considering the climate change impacts right now in our country, and promoting climate resilience in food system can help mitigate risks associated with extreme climate events and changing agricultural conditions. As I said previously, usually in the past, we used to have two major seasons for farming. One was the rainy season that started in May, April to May, October, and that was a rainy season. And the other was a dry season that started in May, October to May, April. During the rainy seasons, our farmers usually crops or plant their crops because there where we receive a lot of rain. And during the dry season, they take that time to kind of clear the land, to prepare the land for what? For planting season. Unfortunately, those systems, those seasons are gradually changing due to the impact of climate change. Instead of having more rain coming down in April to prepare the land or the soil for planting, now we are receiving more sun during April. Instead of having more sun during October moving upward to April, we are now receiving more rain. So the farmers are confused. As a result, their plants are no longer yielding better results. Now I talk about the issue of research. We need to conduct more research. We need more geographers to reassess our climatic condition. What is responsible for this? And what would be the appropriate time for people to plant and for people to prepare for planting? And of course, the issue of monitoring evaluation is very important. Establishing a robust monitoring and evaluation mechanism is crucial for assessing the impact of food security policies and making the necessary adjustment to improve effectiveness and efficiency. Then we'll also talk about effective adoptions of Women Empowerment in Agriculture Index. For example, there was a case in India. So we say the Women Empowerment in Agriculture Index WIA has been a vulnerable tool in measuring women empowerment in the agriculture sector and its linkages to nutrition. However, there are certain critiques and limitations that need to be addressed to enhance its effectiveness and relevance. In the context of Liberia, successful adoptions of the WIA could require the following. One, understanding the local agricultural practices. Liberia has a diverse agricultural landscape, with smallholder farming being the dominant practice. The adopted index should consider the roles and challenges faced by women in different agricultural activities, such as crop cultivations, livestock rearing, and value-added processing. Another thing we need to look at when it comes to replicating the WIA in Liberia is addressing the land tenure issue, which is very important. Land ownership and tenure are critical for women empowerment in agriculture. Women here in most rural communities do not own land. Liberia faces challenges regarding women access to control over land. The adopted index should incorporate land. It should incorporate land-related indicators to capture the empowerment aspect related to land ownership and use. Engaging with local organizations is another factor. Uh, Collaboration with local organizations and NGO working on women empowerment and agriculture is essential. These organizations have valuable insights and can provide support in data collections and implementation. Government commitment is very crucial to this. For effective adoption, government support and commitment are crucial. Policymakers and relevant stakeholders should be encouraged throughout the process to ensure that adopted index funding can improve policy decisions. And of course, capacity building. Building local capacity in data collection, analysis, and interpretations is vital for the long-term sustainability of the adopted index. Training local researchers and stakeholders can enhance their understanding of women's empowerment in agriculture and strengthen their involvement in the process. Monitoring evaluation also remain very key to this aspect. Monitoring evaluations is important because regular monitoring and evaluation of the adopted index impact can provide feedback for improvement and ensure its relevance and effectiveness over time. These are major issues to look at when it comes to incorporating the WEAR within the agriculture sector. It is important that we all look at this to see how we can boost and enhance food security in Liberia. Thank you ever so much.